I stop and stare into his eyes, my gaze unwavering. I push the short black strands that have fallen over my eyes back through the rest of my hair and take a sharp inhale. Try me. Opposite the huge arched entrance, it's a grand golden statue. Lord Carmen, the one divine ruler. This is the Kakuto Sanctum. The Sento fighter pit is where we stand, and we are the fighters. May the might of Lord Carmen be mine. Harden! The strange, overwhelming sensation floods my nervous system, and then I try to stop it. On the cap of my knuckle, on the index finger of my right hand. As if tracing a well-worn path, my fist whips outward, upward, and then inward again, and it fucking smashes into Phyllis's jaw. He's unconscious. Winner. Alex Zashin. The Zashin Legacy.
I felt a bit bad that they had to drag Phyllis out by his ankles. Not that bad, though. Winning always feels good. I reckon Kai enjoyed that one too. Taken from Alex Zashin's private journal. Date, K-Day. Part 2. And that's when I learned that male porcupines will actually pee on the female porcupines, almost as a bit of foreplay. Kai explains. I look between Crystal and Kai for just a second. I hesitate, and then I go with my gut. Well, no judgment, I guess. I do wonder what the first porcupine to pull that move was thinking at the time, though, I offer back, contemplating the thought. Kai nods, firmly. And then I snap out of it. Wait, how do you... No, fuck that. Why do you know that, Kai? I ask, intrigued. Common knowledge, Crow. Kai replies. All three of us pause, thinking for a second. And then the sound of laughter just fills the air. My stomach creases in two as Kai snorts, choking simultaneously. Crystal suppresses a laugh to my right. Shut up, Kai. Just shut up. She giggles. The laughter continues, eventually fading away as we all return our gaze to the sky above. Stars flood the sea of black for as far as the eye can see. We sit in a small opening between the last line of trees and Chrystherium's sandy shore, which stretches to the ocean beyond. It's just the three of us, and we're on the northwest side of the island. I stare off at the horizon. This part of life, moments like this, always feel simply worlds away from life in the Kakuto Sanctum. Mind you, my first fight of the year was only this morning, and this little circle here marks our K-Day celebrations. My opponent, Phyllis, had been dispatched. As expected, to be honest, but in epic fashion, if I may say so myself. The corner of my mouth rises at the thought. I replay the knockout in my mind, just trying to savour the art of it all. The moment, the rush, the success. There's nothing like that feeling. Nothing in the world. Crystal reaches into the inside pocket of her clothing, wincing and holding her ribs with her other hand as Kai opens his mouth to speak. You didn't have to humiliate Phyllis with the flashy bullshit today, Alex. He's a good guy, really, Kai says. You're unbearable sometimes, you know that? The elders were not impressed either. You should have seen old Ven Jensen's face. If looks could kill, and I'm not sure that his can't, you'd be a dead man, he continues. Oh, I didn't mean... It was pretty fucking spectacular though, you arsehole. I'll give you that. The air cools again and I can't keep the smug grin from breaking across my face. It was pretty awesome. I knew it was. Kai chuckles, shaking his head. It's big and round and reminds me of the moon. His brown hair is cropped closely to his forehead and all the way around his skull. His hazel eyes are the same colour as his scraggly beard, which wraps messily around his chin. His stocky frame matches the roundness of his head, and his clothing is just ever so slightly too small for him. Looking at him just makes me laugh. Not in a mean way, though. There's nothing wrong with him. Nothing spectacular about him either, though. Not even anything abnormal, really. He's just Kai. The same Kai I've been best friends with since we were 5 years old. 12 years later, he's barely changed. He still wears the same stupid smile and still has his mother lay out his clothes for him every day. Carmen, bless her soul. You won too, Crow. It was a hell of a start, I say, shifting the conversation away from my own win, only slightly reluctantly. Yeah, it was against that rat Hashan, though. I can see how he finished below Phyllis last year now. Good thing he yielded when he did, though, because I thought I was going to shit my pants if I strained for much longer. He replies. Crystal exhales sharply to my right. I empathise with Hashan for a moment. He's not a bad guy, but like Kai says, he is just a bit of a rat, and he's really not got much fight in him, and that just won't cut it here. He gets a lot of stick from both the elders and the K-League fighters. I try to avoid jumping on the blatant bullying that other people dish him, but I don't really help him either. He's just got to do better. Be better. It's as simple as that. Crystal opens her mouth as if to speak, but hesitates. Meeting my eyes, she continues. You used your morph alteration for your knockout today, right, Alex? I heard you yell. She sounds apprehensive. I nod. And how did it go? Ask Phyllis. I'm asking you. Well, it worked, obviously, but not exactly how you wanted? That's right, I say, turning my fist over and studying the red swollen knuckle of my middle finger. Below it, the knuckle of my index finger bears an almost grey translucent tone. Not good. Morpholteration is our gift. That doesn't mean it comes without a price, though. You missed, Crystal notes, her eyes locked on my hand. My eyelids droop and the corners of my mouth curl into the most sarcastic of smiles at her. She's right. I'd meant to harden the knuckle of my middle finger with my morpholteration, the one that would connect with my opponent first. Controlling it within the body is no easy feat, though, and I'd accidentally focused it on the wrong finger, hence the lifeless skin hanging around there as a result. My middle finger had then taken the brunt of Phyllis's jawbone, leaving that one wrecked too. That's what I get for trying to look cool. Raising her eyebrow at me, Crystal opens her left hand and flicks 2 fingers toward her face. A pearly white spherical object launches out of her hand. She catches it between her 2 front left teeth, held in place by her tongue. Another drop of laughter pours out of her mouth as she bites down. The crystal-like shard in her mouth vaporizes into a fog-like crust. A misty white cloud forms just beyond the edges of her lips. With a single flick of her tongue, the fog whips itself into a swirling haze before disappearing into her mouth. The muscles around her eyebrows relax and her eyes soften. They flutter before catching my eye and diverting down into the grass between us. I raise my eyebrow back at her, holding my hand out in an indicative gesture. She rolls her eyes, just softly, before reaching into her pocket once more and tossing me a crystal. I catch it with a downward sweep of my hand. Turning my wrist over, I roll it around in the palm of my hand. Chrystherium, as someone had so aptly named it. One of the only forms of release around here, other than the tavern on Fiskelholmen, the nearest island to Chrystheria. We shouldn't really be dabbling in either, but Carmen will forgive us. Probably. A sensation like the flapping of wings passes through me in anticipation. Kai watches me intensely as I follow suit, flicking the crystal towards my mouth. I catch it between my teeth and bite down, the same white mist seeping outward. I flick my tongue. Nothing happens. I hear an exhale to my right, and then I inhale sharply, the mist disappearing into my lungs. Not bad, Crystal says, her lips turning upward. I go to reply, but then a deep sigh falls out of me from within. I feel the muscles in my face relax. In fact, I feel the muscles all over my body. Truly. An acute awareness of every fibre in my body suddenly presents itself, both surprising and soothing at the same time. To my left, Kai furrows his eyebrows in curiosity. Fine, I'm not going to be the only one. Come on then, he says, gesturing at us both. Yeah? Yep. I nod at Crystal, who reaches into her pocket a third time and passes another flash of white to Kai. He holds it in his hand before throwing it toward his face. It hits him straight in the eye and falls down into his lap. I double over, or what might be, in the moment, perhaps the funniest thing I've ever seen. Crystal does the same. Kai chuckles too, embarrassed, before placing the crystal in his mouth, biting down and inhaling the mist. His face turns red as he looks between us and the grass. Crystal covers her mouth again before falling silent, staring off into the distance. There's a startling glow to the blue in her eyes. Her lip trembles, just barely. I wouldn't have noticed if I wasn't staring. I hesitate, choosing my words carefully. You did well today too, Crystal. Screw Jackin. Everyone knows he's a cruel bastard. You'll beat him next time, though. Mm-hmm, she muses. Noted. Don't talk about her fight today. She'd faced Jackin Jensen, an unfortunately brutal opponent to fight on K-Day. Although her ability to use morpholteration is definitely better than his, and probably most of the K-Leagues at that, he's on another level in terms of physical prowess and sheer fucking sadistic violence. He'd been the only person to beat me twice last year. Well, other than him. Another hour of nonsensical chit-chat and general tomfoolery passes before Crystal rises to her feet. I think I'm going to turn in for the night, she says, her eyes still fixed on a faraway point. And me too. Kai slurs, to no one in particular. I guess that's that then, I confirm, somewhat sadly. We rise to our feet and say our goodbyes. I draw my hand back and slam it into Kai's, our palms interlocking. Our thumbs point upwards as our hands clasp each other. May the might of Carmen be with you, we say, out of habit, just a hint of sarcasm tinging our tone. Then we bring our foreheads down to our thumbs, a sign of our mutual respect, and we smile. We take turns doing the same with Crystal before parting ways again. Today was K-Day, but that fight was just one of many for the year. 1 down, 77 to go. The K-League is no joke. My next bout isn't for a few days, but that doesn't mean it's time to rest on my laurels. Tomorrow won't be easy. In fact, I don't think a single day of my life has ever been easy. My mind is racing as I wander home. It's a blend of today's epic highlights and nervous anticipation of what's to come. I can't complain about my result today. I also can't shake the sickening uneasiness that plagues me. Something feels off. Something lingers just around the corner. I can feel it. Doing my best to slow my breathing, I head to bed ahead of just another day of training here on Chrystherium. I can only face life as it comes, I tell myself.
In the next part of the Zashin legacy, Alex, Kai, and Crystal are put through an enduring day of training by one of the elders. Conditioning and sparring aren't new to them, but what comes next might just be. Part 3, coming soon.